What is up, everybody? It's Animac here for AnimeUproar, and today I will be discussing one of the darkest secrets in the world of Boku no Hero. A concept that was introduced early on in the story, and yet it was only very recently that we received new, crucial information about the artificial humans known as the Nomu. Information that completely changed the game in Boku no Hero, and information that is absolutely critical for predicting the ultimate fate of Shigaraki. All for One and Ujiko's experiments on the Nomu have been going on for many years, and these experiments have become increasingly important to the story, especially with the recent introduction of multiple new, overpowered, high-end Nomu. So, in this video, I will explain everything we know so far about the various types of Nomu and the process that was used to create them. And I will argue that there is still more crucial information that is yet to emerge, including information about Shigaraki, Kudo Giri, and the female high-end Nomu. Once this information does emerge, it will change everything we thought we knew about the world of Boku no Hero and about All for One's true master plan, so let's get into it. If you enjoyed the Boku no Hero content on this channel and you'd like to see more, please leave a like to let me know, it really does help. And if you happen to be new to AnimeUproar, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. If you don't want to miss our videos, you really have to go through the trouble of actually clicking the bell and then selecting the option that says all. If not, YouTube is still gonna bury our videos, even if you're subscribed, it's just the way it works. You could also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. Finally, this video will contain Boku no Hero manga spoilers. Everything is fair game, including the very latest information in the manga, so please proceed with caution, you have been warned. The basic info that we have about the Nomu at first is as follows. The Nomu were created from the corpses of dead people, in most cases criminals, and these corpses were somehow revived and infused with multiple quirks by Ujiko and All for One. The Nomu that we meet initially appear to be largely mindless. They are completely loyal to the League of Villains, and they blindly carry out simple orders given to them by the villains themselves. At first, we weren't sure whether all the quirks given to the Nomu had to be stolen from another person and could only be used once, or whether the same quirk could actually be copied and reused on multiple Nomu. Later on in the story, it was confirmed that Ujiko has the ability to copy quirks and then give them to the Nomu, and he doesn't even need to actually steal the quirk in order to do it. The high-end Nomu known as Hood had been given the same muscle augmentation quirk as Muscular, even though Muscular's quirk was never stolen. That means that if Ujiko can somehow get his hands on someone with a strong quirk, he can somehow copy that quirk and save it without having to take the quirk away from its original user. As the story goes on, we learn that there are many different types of Nomu out there. Some of them are fairly weak, although still stronger than the average human, and they might possess one or two different quirks. These lower tier Nomu also tend to be a lighter color, and they need to be directly ordered to act because they are mindless servants of the League of Villains. A large number of these Nomu might cause serious problems for law enforcement, but in general they don't pose much of a threat to experienced pro heroes. Above these lower tier basic Nomu, we have the middle tier. These are Nomu who are stronger than the low tier and who tend to have more colorful skin. Examples include the Flying Nomu from the Stain arc and the Crazy Chainsaw Nomu from the Forest Training Camp arc. Again, these Nomu are not too smart and they're able to carry out just basic orders, but they are definitely stronger than the low tier Nomu. By the way, in terms of the Flying Nomu or the Winged Nomu, there was some speculation that this was actually Tsubasa, the grandson of Dr. Ujiko. That is the same boy who used to hang out with Bakugo, and his quirk was having wings. But this was before we knew that Ujiko can just copy quirks and give them to the Nomu. So I believe that at most, Ujiko copied his grandson's quirk and gave it to this Nomu. I do not believe that his grandson was actually turned into a Nomu. So among these regular Nomu, we also have the upper tier. These Nomu are black in color, they possess multiple quirks at once, and they are significantly stronger than the mid and low tier Nomu. A good example of the upper tier Nomu is that black Nomu from the USJ arc, and Nomu like this one are believed to be stronger than 10 average humans put together. During the USJ arc, we saw that a Nomu of this caliber can definitely pose a serious threat to even top tier pro heroes. And we know that All Might had to work hard in order to ultimately defeat the USJ Nomu. But despite being extremely powerful, the upper tier Nomu still lack any sort of real intelligence and they cannot speak. They seem to be just more powerful versions of the mindless zombie Nomu that don't know how to do much else except follow orders. However, the most powerful type of Nomu was revealed during the Pro Hero arc of the story, and that is the high-end Nomu. The high-end Nomu seem to be far stronger than even the strongest upper tier Nomu, and the high-ends are able to possess like half a dozen different quirks at the same time. As we saw during the Pro Hero arc, even the number 1 Pro Hero Endeavor struggled to defeat the first high-end that was introduced. It is later revealed that at least 12 high-end Nomu have been created by Ujiko and All For One, and some of these Nomu have been shown in action during the hero raid on Jakku Hospital. But the difference between the high-end Nomu and the other Nomu is not just a matter of power. The high-end Nomu are far more intelligent, capable of coherent speech, and they even seem to have actual personalities. Personalities which they inherited from the humans that they used to be prior to being transformed into Nomu. The high-end Nomu are able to instantly identify most top-tier pro heroes just by looking at them, and some of these Nomu are even able to use complex strategy. The clearest example of this, in my opinion, is when the female high-end Nomu, sometimes referred to as the woman Nomu, was able to immediately figure out the nature and effects of Aizawa's quirk. And she was then able to avoid the effects of his quirk by escaping his line of sight. And what's especially interesting about that scene with the female Nomu is how coherent and sophisticated her inner monologue was as she was figuring out the true nature of Aizawa's quirk. If we didn't know that she was a Nomu, we would have thought that this was the inner monologue of a normal person, and a pretty intelligent person at that. The female Nomu is definitely not a mindless servant, and I would argue that her intelligence is on a totally different level than even the other high-end Nomu like Hood. Her intelligence could be compared to the other Nomu that we still haven't talked about in this video, a Nomu that is so intelligent that we didn't even realize that he was a Nomu. I am of course referring to Kudo Giri. In reality, Kudo Giri is the very first Nomu that we met in the Boku no Hero story. We just had no idea that he was actually a Nomu. It turns out that Kudo Giri is a Nomu created from the corpse of Oboro Shirakumo, who was a classmate and close friend of Eraserhead and Present Mic back when they were students in UA. Unfortunately, during a fight against a huge villain, Oboro Shirakumo was supposedly killed. So all this time, Eraserhead and Present Mic thought that their friend had died. But we ultimately find out that Ujiko and All For One somehow managed to get their hands on Oboro's corpse. And they then used Oboro's body as a base in order to create Kudo Giri. Oboro's quirk, Cloud, appears to have been used as a base for the creation of Kudo Giri's quirk, Warp Gate. All For One used his unique ability to combine quirks in order to combine Cloud and various other quirks to create what we know today as Warp Gate. So, as it turns out, this overpowered and rare quirk was not a naturally occurring quirk at all. It was artificially created by All For One. On top of being given the ability to use Warp Gate, the Nomu Kudo Giri was also programmed to take care of Shigaraki and to help him become a worthy successor to All For One. This explains Kudo Giri's undying loyalty to Shigaraki even back when he was in his annoying emo gamer edgelord phase. When this big Kudo Giri reveal happened, the biggest and most interesting aspect of the whole thing to me was this simple question. How is it possible that Kudo Giri is such a highly advanced and intelligent Nomu, and yet he was created so long ago? We've only recently seen the high-end Nomu begin to make their appearance, and Hood was the first Nomu we saw who was capable of somewhat coherent speech. We know that some of the other high-ends like the female Nomu are even more intelligent than Hood, and that's all good. But are we supposed to believe that Kudo Giri was created back when Oboro died, which is like 14 years ago, and yet he is by far the most advanced Nomu that we have ever seen. A Nomu so intelligent that we had no idea that he was even a Nomu. As I said before, the female Nomu's intelligence might be comparable to Kudo Giri's, but she was literally just released from her tube and the procedure that created her wasn't even fully completed when she was awakened. So, how is it possible that up to the point of the Pro Hero arc, nearly all of the Nomu that we had met were almost completely mindless? And yet, like 14 years prior to that, a highly intelligent Nomu like Kudo Giri was successfully created. If they could just create a Nomu on the level of Kudo Giri, why would All For One and Ujiko even bother with the lower tier unintelligent Nomu in the first place? I would assume that their research would only have progressed further in 14 years. So in theory, it should be much easier for them to create highly intelligent Nomu now than back then when they first created Kudo Giri. And yet, clearly, this is not the case, so what's the answer? What makes Kudo Giri so much different from all the other Nomu, with the possible exception of the female Nomu, although she was seemingly created many years after Kudo Giri? I've talked about this in other videos, but my personal theory is that Kudo Giri's base, Oboro Shirakumo, was not actually dead when he was experimented on by the villains and transformed into a Nomu. The other Nomu may have been created from corpses, but I believe that Oboro's body was probably horribly injured and on the verge of death, but he wasn't actually dead. His death was faked in the hospital records by Ujiko, and then Oboro's living body was used as a base to create Kudo Giri. My theory is that using live subjects to create Nomu instead of dead corpses is what allows a Nomu to become far more advanced and intelligent than a regular Nomu. And that is why Kudo Giri is so unique. That is why such a highly intelligent Nomu was successfully created so many years ago, despite the fact that the technology and procedures used to create the Nomu would not have been nearly as advanced back then as they are now. I believe that the female Nomu may also be special. She may also have been created from a living person rather than a corpse. And if that is the case, I wonder who the woman whose body was used for the creation of the female Nomu actually was. But the female Nomu aside, Kudo Giri really is the biggest mystery here. But with the recent developments in the story, I think that we are finally beginning to get the full picture of what happened to Oboro and what is about to happen to Shigaraki. Think about the procedure that Ujiko has been performing on Shigaraki. A procedure designed to make him stronger and probably boost his quirk as well, perhaps even give him multiple new quirks. And yet, this procedure is being performed on Shigaraki while he is still alive. He is not a corpse or a Nomu. What if this procedure that is being performed on Shigaraki right now is just an advanced version of whatever was done to Oboro in order to turn him into Kudo Giri? The Shigaraki case clearly proves that this procedure can be performed on living people, not just on corpses. So to me, the only way to explain why Kudo Giri was such a highly advanced Nomu, even though he was created so long ago, is that conducting the procedure on living people rather than corpses makes it easier to infuse that person with new quirks and abilities, provided that the subject of the procedure actually survives the procedure itself. Obviously, getting your hands on human live subjects would be harder than finding some corpses, so I assume that that is why Nomu like Kudo Giri are so rare. I believe that this is the dark secret about the Nomu and about Shigaraki. Most of them may have been created from corpses, but others, like Kudo Giri, may have been created from a living person. The Nomu who have been made from living people, like Kudo Giri and potentially the female Nomu, are more advanced than the Nomu who have been created from corpses and considerably more intelligent. At the same time, it seems that a similar type of procedure, although likely even more advanced, has just been performed on Shigaraki. And so the results of this procedure, once Shigaraki finally awakens, will be earth-shattering. Shigaraki will never be the same again, and neither will the Hero Society once he finally wakes up. Please let me know what you guys think. How do you think that a Nomu as highly intelligent as Kudo Giri was created so long ago? And do you agree with me that Oboro may still have been alive when Ujiko and All For One performed the procedure on him? And if the highly intelligent Nomu like Kudo Giri and the female Nomu have been created using living people, then who do you think was the person that the villains used to create the female Nomu? Finally, what kind of new powers and abilities do you think that Shigaraki is going to possess after his procedure? A powered up quirk? Completely new quirks? Or something else? Please share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more Boku no Hero content right here on the channel, please leave a like to let me know. It definitely helps. And if you happen to be new to the channel or you just haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell to turn on all notifications. You can also hit me up on Twitter and or Instagram at AnimeUproar. I want to give a big thank you to all of our AnimeUproar patrons for supporting our work and making these videos possible. Special thank you to Efren A, a disciple of Lord Twigo himself. Another important thank you to all of our The One tier patrons, the ones who stand above all other clans, including Ingrata, Alolan Atom, The World, Steelers, Dyson Quirino, A Quiet Respect, Pate Hefa, Jonathan King, Desi D, Brandon Aviles, and Emperor Otaku. Finally, I can't forget all of our Pro Hero tier patrons, including the one and only Gilgamesh, Nothing But a Fan, Jason Wilson, King Zeldris, Anatoly Kazatsky, Angel Cruz, iSparky65, Cricket XP, Ted No Ted, Joe Stanton, Very Gucci, Alicia Octor, Anamole69, Jessica Kayla Fond, Hinokami and Water, Bonnie Parks, Zodiart12, Rathuin, Deora, Emperor, Mitch Loves Anime, and JCC Waka. If you enjoy our videos and you feel that they provide value to you, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Even a single dollar will give you access to our patron exclusive Discord, and your name will appear in our videos along with these amazing people. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.